Today on the Cooligans, in the first segment, we got Handshake Gate, the non-handshake heard round the world.
Oh, yeah.
And also, there's people claiming that they're gully out here. There's people all over England flying around, claiming that they're gully, and we have to really determine how gully they actually are.
We're about to mask on, mask off, see if they're really that gully.
And in the U.S. men's national team rosters are out, and oh boy, Alexis is angry.
Oh, always. In the second segment, we talked to Aaron Dolores Aaron Dolores, right? Because it's not Latino, of Black Arrow FC. They've got this cool documentary that's out right now while you're listening to this on their YouTube channel. But he's stopping in. We're going to show you, we're going to play a clip for you. We're going to talk to him a little bit about what exactly Black Arrow is and why do they throw the dopest parties.
Exactly. All
that
this
and more. And on this episode of the Cooligans!
Hey, this is Alexi Lawless. There is nobody in U.S. soccer that is more important than the Cooligans.
Yeah, baby!
Hello! Welcome back.
on.
Que lo que?
Yeah.
It's still Hispanic Heritage Month.
For the next 8 months.
Okay? It's not ended. Thank you so much. I like that we're this Hispanic Heritage Month has been a little bit more special than past Hispanic Heritage
Absolutely,
months that
yeah.
span 2 months. Do you know what I mean? So just because I feel like it's I don't know as a Latino, right? I feel.
Are you? Oh, wow.
I mean, I sound pretty Jewish. I know, but
I think our fans have never heard us speak of being Latino before.
No, but I feel like the more we put it out into the world, then more people are like, oh, cool, I like that you guys are that, and
Right.
talking about that, and talking about it
Again, we got
in this way.
We got people in North Ireland saying "Dímelo" and "Dique." We're changing the world.
Okay, all right. we're spreading the good message of Dominican slang.
We
all
got
right?
Dominicans scoring in Spain, and not the way they normally would with other people's girlfriends. This is
Exactly.
actually, we're letting the Argentinians do that in
All right,
Atlanta.
no, you don't have to throw Dominicans under the bus that hard, man.
Are you kidding me? If there was a mattress under the bus, they'd all be under there.
All right. We're perfectly monogamous if we choose to be.
If you choose to be. It goes against the culture, but nonetheless. And by the way,
it's just there's a lot of pressure,
Yeah. Uncles.
machismo, and a lot of stuff. You only have one girlfriend, well, you're basically gay, you know? It's a very tough culture.
You lock it up, go to the farm. And shouts to us for coming up with DR7. How did no one come up with that?
I don't know. I mean, they really dropped the ball. They really dropped the ball, the Spanish media.
DR7.
DR7.
That is the greatest nickname of all time. We got to find a way to get that information to him.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll relay it through one of his 18 girlfriends.
Yeah. See? Or maybe one of their husbands.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to... This is a soccer podcast.
We
even though
swear it is.
We haven't even mentioned the word once. We are the Cooligans. We are your favorite stand-up comedians who host a soccer podcast. It is not only the funniest soccer podcast that you've ever heard of.
It is the funniest soccer podcast
That's right.
that they've ever heard of, for
I mean,
sure.
it is. It's not only. It's not exclusively.
No, it's more than that, but it 100% certainly is
Okay,
that.
we are multi-dimensional.
Yeah. We're also multi-Dominican. It's a very...
Okay, we're layered, all right?
We're like an onion.
Okay, it's tres leches.
Yes, that's
out
right.
here.
We're like cuatro leches, when they put that funky stuff on the top. Or maybe sometimes mango in there. Now we're talking. Well, we're not just the funniest soccer podcast. We also happen to be the gulliest soccer
That's
podcast.
right. We keep it real all day. Gang, gang.
Bang, bang.
So I'm excited about today. You were just in Atlanta.
As you can tell.
Clearly, I suck in home.
Yeah.
You were there for the Red Clay Comedy Festival. How did that go, Alexis?
Red Clay Comedy Festival was amazing. Thank you to all the fans that showed up. Atlanta United was the sponsor of the festival this year.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. By the way, I don't even think they need to do anything. Their flags are everywhere anyway.
People already have tattoos on their body. They are already a marketing campaign for the team.
The city of Atlanta is sponsored by Atlanta United already. So the festival was just like, why don't we just, I don't know, focus on the one flag that they can see here as opposed to the 17 other behind. So they gave all the headliners, which I was not one of, Janine Garofalo, Joe DeRosa, and Ron Funches. Joe DeRosa recorded his album there. It's going to be great. It's a really cool. Did it at the Earl over in East Atlanta Village.
Okay, yeah, I remember
so they
that.
gave the three of them a cool little gift pack, which you see here, and one of the King Peach jerseys with their names on the back.
Yeah.
Right? And when they found out that I was going, they gave me one too.
Look at that.
How awesome is that?
Thank you so much,
Come on.
Atlanta United.
Atlanta
It's
United.
Pretty cool of them.
By
to
the
do that.
way, let me just say this.
Go for it.
You and I have been season ticket holders and fans of a very specific team here in New York City, the only one that plays within the 5 boroughs of New York City. Let me say this: we have had to sit there as our friends have been invited to the owner's box and been given customized
I mean,
jerseys.
that's true. Well, we were invited once to the box. Remember, we watched the FC Dallas game a year ago.
By a front office person, not by the team. Okay, which we took great advantage of, and thank you very much.
Yeah, that was great too. So.
It was awesome. Better way to watch it than with the fans. I mean, you sit down, there's free food. Honestly, I love the supporters section, but
I actually prefer the supporters section.
I mean, maybe I'm just a little bit fancier than you. You know what I mean? But my point is, we've had to sit there as our friends, Jermaine Fowler and Andrew Scholes and Christy Stefano and a couple more.
Other comedians, yeah.
Sat there and they got their customized jersey with their name on the back. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. These people that probably didn't even watch the game, know nothing about soccer, got invited. Because, I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of social media buzz. But us, who are pushing this game forward and working to market it.
I'm your pusher. That's us.
We out here grinding and nothing. Hold on a second. We get asked to do some stuff recently. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Right? It went a little viral, which is pretty dope. Oh, that's cool. All I'm saying is a team we have no affiliation with recognizes our talent and hits us up with a jersey.
All right, Alexis, this is okay. Clearly, you're a little offended by it. I'm not offended. I'm
just saying, let's put it all out. Let's put all our cards on the table.
Do we need to pull it all out?
I'm not trying to be Louis C.K. I'm just saying here, a team that we have no affiliation with.
Okay. Look, I just
These are facts.
They are facts. I'm just saying. Look, I'm a fan of the team, and I just want to support. I'm not expecting anything. So
me neither. I'm just saying. Look, now that it's here,
it's just that when other teams show acknowledgement, it just seems a little odd, right?
That's all I'm saying.
But it's fine. I don't want to feel. I don't want anyone.
As soon as I got it, I'm like, yo, this is really cool. I wish this was a jersey of a team I supported.
It's almost like if you get a gift and then it's like, I asked my dad for this as well, and he didn't. Yeah. And it's just like, are you my dad?
Imagine being a kid and the neighbor or family gets you better Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I guess I got to live here now. I don't know what to tell you.
I guess I'm done with this family.
I can't take this PlayStation and plug it in over there. I got to keep it here. So I'm going to be spending more of my time here.
So, okay, I'm glad you did have a good time.
I had a great time. Thank you to Atlanta United. By the way, we're going to be giving this away. We got to figure out how we're going to give it away.
What?
Well, I'm keeping the jersey for sure. But we got magnets.
Has your name on it.
Yeah, we're going to put that up on our studio when we officially have one. But, we got the little flag over there. We got the cup. We got the 2 koozies, which I saw people actually use for the first time in my life. We got magnet stickers.
You never seen anybody use a koozie?
No, I never actually. I've seen koozies before. People have handed it to me. I'm like, thank you so much. Right in the garbage.
Right in the trash.
Look at this squishy thing I'm going to throw in the garbage. This is really cool. And we got this little Atlanta United bag. So if you want to win this, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll do the funniest review that people leave on our
okay, sure, yes, and so speaking of that, before I even get to the review,
almost like I'm a professional.
I mean, it's like, almost,
not exactly.
But did you hear? Speaking of Atlanta, did you hear that they officially voted to take that? There was an avenue called Confederate Avenue, and they are removing it, and it's going to be changed to United Avenue now.
Beautiful.
So apparently, I saw this. I forgot his. One of the guys who tweeted this. The guys on 92.3, I think. The
92.9.
92.9.
The game.
The game, right? The one of the.
Which we were on.
Jason Longshore. I forgot the other guy's name. Mike something. I hate that I forgot. But he tweeted that at some point there's going to be an intersection between Atlanta Street and United Avenue. So Atlanta United literally is sponsoring.
It's 100% sponsored.
There's gonna be Joseph Martinez Way and Julian Gressel Drive at some point. So forget all the other street names. They're gonna be taking over. The Atlanta Falcons are gonna be an afterthought of that city.
Like, oh, you hear we're getting a Shake Shack? Yeah, they opened it at Joseph Staring at the Fans Street.
So it's only a matter of time, everybody. So speaking of reviews, it's always very helpful when people leave us great iTunes reviews, 5 stars.
Oh, it's the best.
Helps more people hear about the show. We've been getting some really, really fun ones just recently, and I wanted to read one. This one's I'm going to read 2, but this one is very, very concise, but to the point, and speaks directly to anyone who might be interested in this show or what this show is about.
Should I or should I not? This answers
This is the answer. So this is from Cole D. Robeson.
Great medicine, by the way. Whenever you have chest cold,
Yeah.
get yourself some Cole D. Robeson.
Get me the Robeson. So he goes, it's from Cole D. Robeson, and just 5 stars. And the title of the review just says "my," just the word M-Y, just "my."
My.
And then the subject, the description of the review just says "guy." My guy. Go, Cole D. Robeson.
You're the gulliest review of the week.
That is just to the point. I mean, if anybody's like, hey, should I check out this soccer podcast? I mean, let me see. What does Cole D. Robeson think?
Let me see what the most recent review is. Tap, 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 tap. Click. Oh, there it is. I got a weird modem. My guy. Yeah, I got to listen to that.
Okay, I'm going to check this one out. My guy. All right.
Which, by the way, this review is going to make us the #1 podcast listened to at Rikers Island. I mean, my guy. Oh, my guy. I got to listen to this.
And this one was our most recent one that was really, really fun. This is by L3E Live. L3E Live. And it says, great podcast, very funny, 5 stars. And then the description says, if you enjoy soccer and laughing, then this podcast is for you. If you don't enjoy soccer or laughing, then you should go die in a hole somewhere dark with no friends and no one to remember you. Also, don't listen to this podcast. That's right.
Damn.
Because if you're dead, you're gonna have a tough time.
It's very difficult.
Subscribing to this show.
I know the waves go out. Well, I mean, we're not on radio, so the waves don't go out to this guy. But whatever. Maybe you could download it in heaven or hell, wherever you're going. I thought that was just going to be a long way of saying 2 guys wearing certain jackets. So.
Oh no. This people are catching on.
People know what's up.
I mean, it's written between the lines. You read between the lines.
You know what they mean. you know what
they're talking about.
Boredom. You know what I mean?
All right, so let's get to soccer. Let's get to the show. American soccer is really I know
it's back, baby.
It's back, baby.
Hey, come on. You thought we were
all right.
out?
It's
We're
sweep.
here.
It's sweeps week in Major League Soccer.
We gotta make it big.
So. This is I know we're all about drama. We love gossip.
Oh my
I mean
God,
this is across. It doesn't matter in sports, in keeping up with the Kardashians. It doesn't matter what it. Kanye wearing a MAGA hat on SNL.
We know about it. We want to hear about it. If tea gets spilled, we're there. Okay.
So look, I know that right now, and I always try to pay attention to what's going on in the Premier League as far as what's being talked about the most, right? And right now,
Arsenal's win streak. Is that what you're talking about?
Their 1.5 game win streak? I don't even know.
4. It's either 4 or 5. I should know this.
So but it seems to be Mourinho and Pogba.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! He looked at him.
Girl,
what you know about?
Did you see the shade? Mourinho never gonna get a tan with shit like that.
So it kind of just describes what the culture is like of soccer in England, right? And it is very catty, and honestly it seemed like it sells papers for Mourinho to fail and Manchester United to not do well, right? There's a great story there. Is he gonna get fired? Will he be sacked? Will he be not? All that stuff.
Will he or won't he?
So that seems to be. I feel like I'm getting to learn just about how the landscape is of how soccer is talked about, at the pubs, okay? But we in this country, and again, a lot of people do a disservice to American soccer in not getting to this train, not hopping on this train of drama, because we have
people are so. Remember, the league recently was very anti, oh my God, don't do the memes, don't disrespect each other, and everyone's like, no, right in my veins. This is what we want.
Because and shout out to Matt Doyle, because he also pointed this out as well. He's always been very supportive of us about that contribution to the culture, where MLS should very much be. From a social media perspective, should be very similar to the NBA.
Yeah.
NBA Twitter is hot. Whenever
it's hot.
Somebody gets crossed over by James Harden. You all over. It's a meme in seconds.
And it's the teams doing it.
Sure,
And the
yeah.
players are talking about it.
They're adding like flames to the ball.
Yeah,
They're adding wacky sounds.
Mad disrespectful, and we love that.
So we had our own, and I think this was a big game and added an element where the game, the 90 minutes were up, but we're still having way more fun. And of course, I'm talking about handshake gate, right?
Yeah.
Between Chris Armas and Tata Martino.
This is Caribbean Latinos versus Argentinians.
Okay, now then, oh my God, Twitter was just nuts. It was just like, look at these typical Argentinians thinking they're better than a Bronx Puerto Rican.
And the dude's got the sweater. Tata's got the sweater over his shoulder. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect. Other than he had like a mate, you know?
Yeah.
and Chris Armas just has one of those boxes around his neck. He's trying to sell cuchi fritos. That's the only thing.
Just a basketball jersey that's a Puerto Rican flag.
Yes,
that's all you need.
Mesh.
All right, that's all we needed.
Does anyone validate for my Toyota Tercel?
But look, if you didn't watch the game, you missed a big game, right? The Rebels against Atlanta United.
I watched it with Footy Mob.
That's right. You were in there in Atlanta. I'm sure they expected a much different result.
Yeah, the mood was different than what you'd expect of watching. I know our guest today, Aaron, was like, "Oh, yo, send me a video and I'll post it on my Instagram."
Like,
and I was like, "It's a little light right now. The mood's just a little low right now. I'm not sure I want to get a video of this exactly." You know.
So the game itself was great. 2-0, the Rebels were absolutely dominant without Tyler Adams, without BWP. No one expected them to be this dominant for this game.
No.
And they were...
Including the people who didn't show up. I mean,
well, look, again...
look, I know it's a running joke.
It's a running joke, but it is... I think the attendance was like 20... somewhere around 22,000. That's pretty good.
That's great.
How much are we going to complain about that? Like,
I'm not. It's just an easy joke.
It's comparatively to Atlanta United, yes, it's bad because they're 70,000 and they sell them out.
Make the seats red, guys. When they're blue, everyone can see when they're empty. Make all the seats red.
When it's red, why? What difference would it make if
no
red?
one's sitting in it? You really won't be able to tell because it looks like someone's wearing a jersey or something. It just looks so shocking on camera.
Okay, so
when you see a lot of blue,
spend the $2 million it will take to replace the color of the seats,
or you could spend it on marketing. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's whatever. Okay, it's a little of a dumb.
Make the seats look like jerseys and make the bottom of the seat look like denim. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, now we're talking.
Aren't we talking?
Okay, just a sweet pair of Calvin Klein jeans.
Get it sponsored. Yo, True Religion sponsoring the official seat bottoms of Red Bull Arena.
Or get one of those blow-up sex dolls and put them all in the
just
seats.
a couple of real dolls.
With the big wide open mouth.
Yeah. You do not want to see the goal celebrations.
Okay, now we're thinking of how to fill this place.
No, I'm human. I was yawning. Get off me.
Anyway.
All right.
But the game itself was incredible, right? I was surprised how difficult of a time Atlanta United had just moving the ball through. Chris Armas.
When did they get their first shot on goal? Like 66th minute?
Dude, somebody, I don't even know who tweeted it. Somebody did. And the promo picture on ESPN Plus to rewatch the game was of Brady Wright Phillips and Joseph Martinez, and BWP didn't play the game. So
two people that didn't play the game.
So it was like, it's interesting. ESPN is promoting the game with two people who didn't play this game, which is Joseph Martinez was subbed off. I think around the 70th minute. He barely touched the ball. Chris Armas, he was asked like how he was gonna handle this game, and he said they're gonna press.
He was like, "Déjame decir."
Right? Coño, ahora. He really.
Lo vamos a poner en el cajo.
You gotta. There's some flemminess with the double R.
It's a guttural R.
But he did say that he was going to make Atlanta United work for every single ball, every single challenge, and they very much struggled. It was surprising to see.
The Athletic has a great article about how just what the Rebels have been able to do, that they could take like superstars, Tyler Adams and BWP, out of their lineup and just plug and play.
Sure.
With people from the bench or the academy system and Rebel too.
Well, the guy we were talking about,
insanity.
Brian White.
Yeah.
was played for BWP.
Yeah.
No, you were like, who the hell is this guy?
Nobody knows who he
Nobody
is.
knows who he is.
Nobody did. Now
But he was-
Atlanta
yeah.
fans know who he is. That's for sure.
He was very much a threat, and to who replaced Tyler Adams? Mark Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
And he did great as well.
the RZA.
Yeah. Not pronounced that way.
No, but that's how you spell his name.
But that's how you spell it. So, but the handshake or the non-handshake, right? Obviously, end of the game. The reports we're hearing was that Chris Armas, and this wasn't televised, but he was basically kind of grandstanding.
Oh no, that was televised.
Oh, I didn't see
you
that.
could see that. He was
Okay.
sort of telling his fans to like, he was putting his hands up in the air, like, give us more energy, more loud, be louder, while sort of he was kind of turning at the same time, but supposedly he stared down the Atlanta bench area and like the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game while he was doing it, which. One, it's disrespectful, but then you gotta grade it on a curb because the dude's from the Bronx and he's Puerto Rican. So
right.
that's mad normal. You know what I mean?
Tata must not know about the Bronx curve rules and how we.
You gotta. Yeah, right.
He was actually being the most respectful to
That's-
you by Bronx standards.
By Bronx standards, I mean that guy was paying respect at your funeral. You know what I mean?
Okay, you want that man giving you a eulogy? That's how beautiful it was.
I mean that's beautiful. That guy was, he was officiating your wedding. All right. That's so he was doing that, which I kind of get why that would be seen as disrespectful. Also, Tata probably not happy with the way the game turned out.
Sure.
So when he went in for the handshake, which was it was kind of like OD aggressive the way he went in for the handshake, like who bested you now? And Tata,
Armas, you think? Okay.
Armas for real. You
did
got
a
to
little
watch
too.
it. Tata went double hand, double shoulder tap. Just the keep your hand right where the fuck it is. I don't give a shit. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
The back and forth, both. I'm not picking sides. I just love all this. My favorite part though was right at the end. Armas gave him the old,
gave him
old suck tooth face, like sort of thumb throwback. It was
like,
beautiful.
check out this guy.
Ah,
right
you
over
believe
here.
this guy right here? Yeah. Don't give him his chopped cheese.
Initially from seeing it, my first instinct was like a little classless from Tata. I thought was not necessary to do it.
I think it was back and forth. I think he was responding to the way Chris Armas was acting. I don't know that either one. I mean, because of you put him in a weird position, right? If you're coming in grandstanding a little bit, what are you going to do? You got to shake his hand. I would personally shake his hand and pull him in a little bit. You know what I mean?
Just put Trump. Just
no, not like the yank. I bring him in a little bit and show him like, yo, you weak, son.
That's what you whisper. Yeah, I thought Tata's gonna say, "Yo, you weak son."
Imagine he said that, like dead ass said that.
Dead ass, just straight up New York English.
Bruh, I've been to the Bronx, bruh. You're weak, my guy.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe Tata was the one who left the.
And then
Coldy Robinson is Tata's.
And then then in the post game he's just like, "But you said,
Yeah, I know.
no sé lo que dice."
Pero por qué? ¿Por qué haces eso?
Gets off the mic. Look, Mike, you better.
Tata, the mic's still on. I said get the. Oh. Pero por qué? ¿Por qué se dice?
No, I think it was. I guess. Look, I didn't see the grandstanding. Maybe I just looked away from the TV when that happened. But it was. I like that we're talking about this to begin with because this
has nothing to do with the 90. This is what's great about it. It's not the 90
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. This is good old fun, old gossip.
Yeah.
Being a little chatty
We
Cathy's.
spilling tea.
But this is a storyline that is as old as time, right? In England, in the Premier League, Mourinho and Pep, Mourinho and Wenger, are they gonna shake hands?
Oh, he called them the what is it? The something of failure, the minister of failure, or something like that.
Yeah, there's something like that. I forgot what it was called. So I like that this is part of the discussion because this is what soccer is about, right? It's not just the 90. We're talking about is he respectful? Is he not? Are they gonna meet each other in the playoffs? I mean, what are those matches gonna be like?
I would hope so because that's gonna be a great matchup.
Yeah. So
can Tata figure it out
So it's pretty interesting. I had so much fun. As soon as it happened, I'm like, yes, give me more.
Why did we have to wait this long for all this action?
All this soccer stuff is getting in the way of all the real fun.
Just move it out of the way. All right, got this. Let's play 45, winner take all. Then let's see what happens between the coaches.
All right, we're gonna try to have a little fun here. Who knows what this sort of means going forward? I know Atlanta United, they only have 1 point. They're only 1 point up against the Rebels, who are in second. And it's really that's basically it for the supporter shield. That no one else really has a real chance.
It's a two-man game.
So
Two-team game. Two-horse race. That's a better one, right?
Yeah, that's the one it is.
There's two of them.
All right. Two horses could be two other things.
There's two-man horses, all right?
Okay, there's two centaurs or minotaurs, whatever you prefer. Yeah. All right, we're not here to judge.
You've heard this cliche a million times. We're not here to reinvent the wheel or the canister. I'm not sure what you say.
So but it was entertaining. So, and I loved the memes after it.
It's a perfectly memeable moment.
It was just the with the thumb back at Tata. And
the other guy handshake.
Shout out to Juan Escalante, huge Nerdwitch at Nerdwitch on Twitter, who I felt like he really took the meme baton and ran with it. Because he made so many hilarious.
He ran right past those man horses. It was beautiful.
But follow him on Twitter if you're a Rebel fan. If you're not, he's a comic also, really funny dude. Yeah. A huge Rebels fan. Happened to be the first guy to purchase, the first person to purchase a Brisas empanada at Rebel Arena, because you know how they have empanadas now there.
I didn't know he was the first one.
He was the first one.
Shout out to them for getting empanadas, by the way.
Sure.
Wow, you're acknowledging the massive fan base you have there. Huh?
No, it's not just brats, bro.
Wait a minute, you Latinos don't want schnitzel?
So he made a bunch of great movies, and you gotta check them out. They're all super funny. All right, so let's move on and talk about what should we talk about? The MLS or U.S. men's national team first?
Let's talk men's national team.
All right. So the rosters for the U.S. men's national team, the two friendlies between, who is it, Colombia and Peru are coming up. And the rosters.
Also, I mean, we got England and Italy coming up in a month. As well.
Yeah, that's after. So. Okay, this is for this. These are for these games.
Yes, this is primarily for Peru, right?
These aren't the rosters forever.
Yeah, no, that's it. We're locked in. I can't wait till these guys are 60 years old.
Taylor Twellman's up front. It's going to be great.
DeMarcus Beasley still there.
Without a doubt. Yeah, he's never quitting. So hopefully you, at US Soccer, ussoccer.com, you can see the full roster. But we have to talk about the new call-ups that were a little bit shocking, and some of the old call-ups that were
just as shocking
or infuriating.
I never thought I'd see Michael Bradley in there ever again.
I disagree. I thought it would happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So Michael Bradley is back with the U.S. men's national team after
a wonderful season with Toronto.
A slight, just a little hiatus. You know?
He took a nice break.
It took a sabbatical from the U.S. men's national team. He's like, you know what?
But you know what though? Unlike Landon Donovan, he didn't go to Cambodia. No. He stayed in the league during his sabbatical.
Wait, Landon Donovan went to Cambodia?
Yeah, remember he took like 6 months off. From soccer?
Is it Landon Donovan, or are you thinking of Dave Chappelle?
No, Dave Chappelle went to South Africa.
I don't know where he went. Who knows?
No, you don't remember this?
I don't remember this.
He needed a mental health break.
Okay.
Landon Donovan, right? Famously quit everything.
All right.
Big soccer fan over here.
Well,
Christian Polanco.
As
you know, he's only been following the U.S. men's national team very closely recently because he's such a huge Colombian. Big Colombian.
I'm a big old Colombian.
I'm a big old cafetero.
So, I'm going to need a mental health break real soon. Anyway.
Well, you work with me.
So, but look, really the big surprises here. I think are an NYCFC player that we did not expect to see on there.
A defender.
Ben Sweat. Congratulations, Ben Sweat.
Guest on this podcast. We nicknamed him Sweatinho.
Okay. And it stuck. I see people tweeting at him. They're like, congratulations, Sweatinho. So thank you for that.
Which is great. Great for him. I mean, this guy was a trialist with NYCFC. I mean, that's huge.
It's
Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Almost unheard of. I mean,
Yeah.
this path, like just playing what Tampa Bay Rowdies were in NASL or USL at the time.
I believe they were NASL.
Okay, and then going, a trialist,
Getting a chance.
He at NYCFC, and not only. So he basically got a better chance once Matarrita got injured.
Right.
He was out for a while, and Ben Sweat owned that left back spot.
Never gave it up.
I really never gave it up. It was tough for Matarrita's now playing like in the midfield because they need to give him some time.
Yeah, and Matarrita at the time, there were rumors of Barcelona being interested in him. I mean, that's how much of a good player Sweat came in and became.
Yeah.
That someone who had all this buzz and all this potential.
So you heard it here first. Ben Sweat. Rumors to Barcelona. He's going.
Barcelona Sweatinho. It's over.
Okay, it's going to be Sweatinho, Paulinho, even though he's not there anymore.
Messinho, all of them.
Okay, so this was a huge shock. I think, too, specifically NYCFC fans, maybe fans of the league in general may not know too much about Ben Sweat, but I think he's already had 47 starts for the team, for NYCFC, and loves fishing, right?
Yeah, big Clearwater, Florida. So he's like a freshwater fisherman.
Sure, I don't know. I just imagine him in the Everglades, picking up alligators.
Yo, he's like a bear, son. He catches them jumping out the water with his teeth.
But no, he very much owned that position and plays well. But the only thing is, and NYCFC fans have seen it. His 2018 to 2017 has been very different.
Yeah.
Right. I think he scored maybe one goal last year.
I think he scored in the Derby.
Yeah, he scored in the Derby. I don't know if he got more than one. I think it was only one. But he had a couple assists. He was just, I think, he made less mistakes last year. And I know the difference is there's a new coach. There's probably a different system in place. So he's just made a couple. He got torched by Alexander Katai in Chicago a couple weeks ago.
And he played terribly against
Minnesota.
Yeah.
He made the mistake. I don't even know he played terribly.
He made both goals.
Well, that's my. He's been not. I feel like he's been not closing down on defenders where they're getting like pretty good crosses in, or he might close down and then slide tackle and then get burned.
That said, we've seen him play much better than he has recently. I agree with you. I think it's just a change of system.
Yeah, maybe.
Which seems to be affecting the entire team.
We'll get into our NYCFC concerns in a bit, but this was huge. This is huge for him.
Huge.
His first ever call up, and to fans of the U.S. men's national team who have not watched NYCFC games, he is a good left back. He's great on the ball. He doesn't really. He's not the fastest. He's not the fastest, but he's evasive and he knows what he places the ball sort of.
He kind of has the feet of a midfielder.
I would argue that as well. Yeah, very. But he's calm on the ball. Outside of passing to Minnesota forwards.
Think of the assist he gave Minnesota. You know what I mean? Vision. Okay.
All right. You gotta see it's like playing FIFA with that above camera angle, man.
I don't have that kind of vision. I just see a bunch of jerseys. He knew. He was like, man, if I give the ball to this guy.
Outside of a couple mistakes, he is. I think he's reliable, and I think if DeMarcus Beasley ever retires from international soccer,
never gonna happen.
Which is never gonna happen.
Right.
Maybe Ben Sweat will.
Sweat will have to live as long as DeMarcus Beasley to get a chance.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how long has the Crypt Keeper been alive?
Bro, you a Highlander, bro?
There can only be one Sweat, or there can only be one Beasley. I don't know. So it might be a little competitive, but I'm genuinely happy for him. I think that's an amazing opportunity. I hope he gets to play, and I hope he shows well, because when it comes to just the wing backs for U.S. soccer, for U.S. men's national team, there's not really definitively this is who it's going to be for the next 10 years.
Right.
I mean, we've seen Anthony Robinson. He's even made some mistakes.
And he's on the roster.
He's on the roster as well. But this might be an interesting look for maybe someone who's a little bit older, not too old, but finally gets an opportunity to really kind of show what he can do and what he can offer to the men's national team.
Right. We also got Reggie Cannon, which is pretty dope.
From
right?
FC Dallas. Yeah, that's cool. FC Dallas homegrown player. Look, just another example. We everybody can play the kids, this and that.
We're getting that. I mean, I don't know who Jonathan Amon is.
I don't know.
Amon. He plays for Nords.
Hamon? No.
We got another Bronx player?
Jay Amon is
Yeah.
Hamon. I don't know.
Hamon. That's, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, my favorite player of all time. Okay.
I don't know where does he
He plays for Nordsjælland in Denmark.
Okay.
Nordsjælland.
He's also has the same birthday as me, April 30th.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's a day before mine.
All right. So
Already a gift. But give me some hamon right before my birthday.
So, okay. So, yeah. So, anything stand out to you? Are you excited about these two particular friendlies? There was some I don't know, just more gossip because Stu Holden had apparently reported that Josie Altidore was initially going to be called up, but he did not because he was suffering some injury.
Right.
And he tweeted this, and Josie Altidore immediately just tweeted right back at him, LOL.
We are in a new era.
Okay.
And I am so ready for this.
Get out of here. We don't even need you anymore.
We're trying to make facts.
Facts and get news and what's the story.
What did your sources tell you? Because I got the source right here.
The source right here.
And he's just going to respond by his Twitter. We don't even need us.
He's laughing in Stu Holden's face. Our homie who's been on this show twice. Stu. What's going on? What you do to Josie?
Damn, what you gonna stew? What you gonna stew about it?
What you stewing up there, Stu?
Damn.
So I guess so. This again, what I saw afterwards was like some people were saying that he is not going to play for the men's national team this time around because of personal reasons and not because of an injury. So, but Josie, instead of telling people what happened, he would just been like, LOL, I'm just going to laugh in your face because you don't know what you're talking about.
Just kind of giggles, and then he does the thumb thing.
They'll just give the Chris Armas thumb.
But speaking of forwards, I'm kind of excited to see what Josh Sargent can actually do. Hopefully he gets a little bit more playing time.
Yeah, he's been playing a little bit at Werder Bremen.
Yeah.
They're not doing so great, but they're not doing terribly.
It's kind of Werder Bremen, though.
Werder Bremen, I think
they almost got relegated last year.
They almost did, but I think they had there was a Bundesliga game where a player threw the ball in to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper missed it and it went in the net. I think it was against Werder Bremen. I don't remember if it was against Werder Bremen, but I think they ended up losing. Anyway,
hilarious.
Are you really that upset about Michael Bradley? Is it almost insulting to see his name there?
No, and I'll explain why. I think, and a lot of people have said this, I'm not the first to say this, I think looking at the last game, it looks like they needed some veteran leadership. So having someone there that presents that, I think is good. The problem I have with it being him is everything we've heard, and it feels like it's kind of confirmed from other players and stuff, is that he's a very sort of alpha male, and he sort of stops he can sort of hinder the progression of some of the youth players because he is so much of an authoritative type of guy. So if that's the case, maybe it's good to, maybe throw a little bit of I was going to say throw a shark in the water. That's never been a good idea. That's never once turned out to be good. But maybe it's good to add a little bit of shake it up a little bit. See what these kids can handle, some bigger personalities. Maybe that's a good thing. Hopefully. I don't know.
I mean, we know one person who's not happy about.
Who is that?
Michael Bradley, clearly Jimmy Conrad. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Remember Jimmy Conrad?
I thought you meant one of the players. I'm like, who?
No. Look, I don't think he is done. Playing for the country. So we'll see. I think he still has something to offer.
What? What does he got to offer? He's done. He's washed.
He's not done career-wise. That's too much to say he's washed. He's not washed.
Do you think he's going to be a part of the next World Cup cycle?
No.
Then whatever. What, you think a Gold Cup? He's going to help us win a Gold Cup?
mean, I love when we raise that trophy. I am not. Nothing makes me prouder to be an American.
Yeah. / Colombian / Dominican.
Obviously, yeah. I'm like one of those people that's like, well, I'm 8th Native American.
Yeah. This is your
2
live
quarters.
23andMe readout.
It's all just soccer countries. They say you're from Andorra. I'm like, oh well, what's their FIFA ranking?
No.
I don't think I'm from there.
I'll respectfully answer once I Google how well they're doing in the Nations League.
Okay, all right. I'm not just gonna go in and just rep that hard.
Yeah, no. So Alexis, you're part Brazilian and German. Right now, mostly French. If I could be real with you.
Okay.
Ole, ole. I know the words.
But I disagree. I think he has something to offer. He's not a bad player. He's still a reliable midfielder.
He's not a bad player. As a nation, for the nation, we need to move on.
Okay. That's fine. All right. You're very cold. You know, somebody slights you once, you're like, this relationship is over.
Yes, no, literally, that's exactly how I am. I write you off. I take your folder.
You didn't put the toothpaste cap on the toothpaste. That's it. It's over.
It's over. How dare you?
How dare you disrespect me?
You know what this means to me and my family. Ridiculous.
Okay, very short
I
temper.
mean, I am kind of like that, though.
Then, all right, before we get into our next segment with our guest, Aaron Dolores, a couple other things we have to talk about.
Yes.
Vancouver Whitecaps fired their coach last week.
Which is, I think, 2 years too late? What do you think?
I mean, according to our friends at Podcaps FC, they've been wanting him gone for about that time.
I think the first time we ever had them on our podcast, they brought up that they wanted him gone.
So
him and Bolaños, right?
No,
Hurtado.
Hurtado. I have zero respect
I'm sure
for
they want Bolaños gone.
It's so weird. It's just that Vancouver's just like, they're not the worst team.
No.
But they're not good enough.
You know what it is? That they have good players. They're just not a team. Even watching the highlights of this game, I'm like, Kai Kamara should be doing that. Why is Alphonso Davies all the way up there with 4 defenders on him by himself?
Yeah.
There's just so much that seems so not functional.
Yeah, and you never look at the squad and be like, oh, this is like, the players are terrible. They don't really have, like, outside of Breck missing sitters, they're usually pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's...
Which, let's be honest, he's world class at that. You know what I mean?
World class.
Nobody misses sitters better than Breck Shack.
I mean, the blooper reel, it's just like, it's all Breck Shack.
That's his highlight reel.
They're like, why is this always the same guy in 2 ponytails?
Right, yeah. Also, why does my highlight reel have yakety sax in the background?
He's like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't have chosen it.
No.
I would have taken this in a different direction.
I'm going to let you do your art, but that's not how I would have done it.
But outside of, it's clearly the coaching. It's clearly the tactics, and they've underwhelmed us for a couple years.
Yeah.
But the fact that, you know, Carl Robinson has been able to, like, keep the team afloat, make the playoffs.
But he's also done those late pushes to the playoffs. Like,
so
here's the thing: if they would have done that again, he wouldn't have been fired.
Yeah, they're currently how many points back? Like 6 or 7 or something like that. They're gonna have. I think this was like, first of all, it's kind of crazy to fire your coach with like this, being this close to the playoffs and being this close to the playoffs and like the team is not in like the worst form in the world. Like, it just fire him at the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how important is it to make? I guess maybe it is. Maybe it is very, very important to the team to make the playoffs, and they wanted to make a statement for maybe the fans and next year and like to renew their season tickets or something like that. And maybe they felt like if we don't make the playoffs with Carl Robinson, we might have an issue with getting more season ticket members the following year. That's the only thing I can think of, because they just seemed like a rash decision.
It was kind of an Wenger in or out. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of need to make a change to let the fans know that we're not just going to accept mediocrity.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Well, they will probably continue the mediocrity because they did lose against LA Galaxy
once again
3-0, which is it's not even losing to the LA Galaxy. It's allowing the LA Galaxy to leave you with a donut, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not their game.
No.
They much.
They have the highest paid backline, and they're terrible.
they're glad that you will let you in.
Yeah.
To their net.
In fact, they're like, please don't let us get a clean sheet, because then they're going to expect this from us next week. Why don't you go ahead and score?
So we want to keep the standards very low.
Yeah.
And so that was a big surprise. That they lost so poorly, but not really that Carl Robinson got fired. It was long overdue. According to our Whitecaps insiders, they were furious,
and we have many of them.
So a couple other things. RSL, another team that is really fighting to keep their playoff spot. They're in 6th place. They're 2 points ahead of LA Galaxy, and it's looking scarier and scarier week after week. But the reason I wanted to talk about them was because Albert Rusnak got a new deal.
Yes, he did. He held out, too.
He held out. So this was interesting. It was a great story. So Albert Rusnak gets a new contract. He is getting around $2 million per season, according to Stam Stejskal of MLSsoccer.com.
Secure the bag.
Secure that bag. And
sometimes you have to not go to work.
Yes.
To secure that bag.
To get paid. Yeah. That's how it's okay. We do things a little differently out here.
It's a different era now. Okay.
So I mean, he's really doing the Le'Veon Bell of MLS, which you got to respect the dude for. And Albert Rusnak has been nothing but consistent in his time at RSL, and you have to pay him, right? He's the DP there, and he's probably deserved a bump in pay. So, but the interesting thing was that RSL was playing against Sporting Kansas City this weekend, and apparently Albert Rusnak did not travel with the team to the game. Therefore, he ended up showing up. He's like, "Yo, I'm here. All right. Look, we're good, right?"
I took a private jet, which I can afford now because I held out.
So because of the negotiations, he did not travel with the team because I think he was trying to kind of force that hand.
Right.
And he got what he wanted, but he missed training. Therefore, he only got to play a couple minutes during the game. He didn't play the full 90. But the issue is that RSL really needs to win games. And they ended up drawing this game, getting a point, which they desperately needed. But the question I'm posing is Rusnak holding out?
I mean, they're in 6th place. So they're in the playoff.
He hurt his team.
Sure.
By doing this at this particular time, if we're talking about how important it is to make it to the playoffs, this was from as a team, if you're a team guy, this was. Are you a little offended as a teammate like that he chose this time to do this?
Yes and no, but who's the dude in the NFL that was holding out for a new contract? And they're like, "Oh, you're being a bad teammate. You got to go play."
Le'Veon Bell.
And he breaks his leg.
Oh, no. That's Earl Thomas from the Seattle Seahawks.
He flips the bird at his team.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we're in a new era. If he plays in this game during the contract and he
gets hurt.
Yeah, gets hurt, blows his ankle out, blows his knee out.
I dare you, Rusnak, flip off Mike Pecky. See what happens to you.
My Pecky conference going to be crazy. He's just going to be shirtless. Go, bring him in here. Bring him in here, son.
All right? I'm going to be the first person to spank a designated player on live TV.
Yeah. You think I won't? Why do you think I got this paddle for?
All right? I don't just walk around with a paddle for no reason. Why, am I crazy?
You think I play cricket, my guy? That's what this is for. It's a spanking paddle. I'm very happy I'm going to get to use it. Trey, fix the printer.
Trey, get the paddle. Did you hear about Trey? Trey is leaving RSL.
What?
Yeah. I just heard it maybe 2 weeks ago. Trey is, I don't know where he's going.
We need to follow his career forever.
We got to follow Trey and see where he goes. But he's apparently been with the team for a long time. I think almost a decade or maybe longer. And he's moving on. I don't know if he's going to another team or working in another field or something like that. But Trey.
Come on. You're an integral part of the team.
What are we going to do with the printer?
I don't want Mike Pecky to be like, Fred, get the printer. That's not working right.
I mean, it just sounds better.
Don't nobody want Fred?
Yo, Fred, the IT guy, is no fun. We don't
get him out of here. He's no Trey.
Trey, only Trey can fix my printer. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you feel that he?
I mean, look, if this was my team, I'd be upset. But looking at it from a player perspective, dude, these guys, I mean, they're getting paid better, but they're still not getting paid as much as I think they should.
Because even the
although $2 million is pretty good. I mean, that's not a bad
even the
contract.
Le'Veon Bell thing, when that happened, and his teammates were mad at him, they were mad at him because he texted them saying "Yo, I'm gonna be there," and he didn't show up. So whatever. So he was like, but he told me.
But Stacy said that Janet said. I mean, who gives a shit?
But this is a little different. If Le'Veon Bell holds out when the Steelers, they need to win one game to get into the playoffs. Like, that changes the dynamic of. I know that as a player, like as teammates, we're like, yo, you need to get your money. Like, do what you got to do.
Right.
But when you put kind of everybody else's jobs in jeopardy, because if MLS is very different. If you don't make the playoffs, there's a way bigger chance you don't even have a job the next season, right?
Yeah.
It's not everybody's not making $2 million a year.
Right. The 23rd guy on that bench is like, please show up.
Please, Albert. Please. He's texting Albert like, "Yo, I really need." Like, well, yo, where you at?
I'm right outside your apartment. I'll drive you. I got you. It's so good if I'm late. I got you.
So I understand because of the money. I honestly.
Why isn't this on RSL? Pay the guy.
I mean, they did.
What, the 23rd minute? That's what I'm saying. Like, pay the guy on time. Give him his contract.
Maybe,
Clearly, he's integral to the team if you lose without him there.
Yeah, I don't know RSL's money situation, but clearly something's going on.
Pay the man.
Pay the man. He got his money though. And last thing wanted to talk about before the next segment. We've been getting a lot of tweets, especially because the Premier League, the inferior soccer league, that dares to
that secondary league,
that dares to have a bunch of big events on our soil, which I think is cause for another revolutionary war.
Yeah, I first of all completely agree. Second of all, I don't think anyone could present any facts otherwise. All right.
I mean, clearly,
these are all acts of war, all of them.
So, but we were getting a lot of tweets because the Premier League had their event in DC with all the fan whatever thing,
and a special appearance was made.
A special appearance. There were a bunch of mascots out there.
Yep.
Okay.
One in particular,
and we were getting tweeted. I mean, so many. It's not even. It's one of those you know how people everybody was calling me and hit me up, and it was
our mentions are blowing up. You got 2 notifications, bro.
But it was actually a lot. Where I'm like, oh, I have to address these concerns to people. So Brighton, Hove, and Albion.
Yeah. No, Brighton and Hove, Albion.
Brighton, I'll call you whatever I want to call you.
BHA. Don't make me say names right now.
Brighton
with the American coach, Wagner, right?
I don't even know.
That might be Huddersfield. Never mind.
Okay, I don't know.
Who pays attention to that little league anay? Nobody.
Brighton, Hove, and Albion, which is their crest has a seagull on it.
Brighton and Hove.
Brighton. Whatever. Hove. All right. I'm doing
Hova. Brighton and Hova.
So Brighton and Hove and Albion and Whack ass club. No, but they have a seagull as their crest. I know, Alexis.
Yeah, see, I'm right. I need to prove it because it very rarely happens that I'm right about anything.
So but the crest has a seagull, and they have
just a seagull on it. It's really all it is. It's a blue circle seagull.
And their mascot is also a seagull, big old seagull. And guess what his name is?
Guess what they stole from us?
What did they steal from us? They're robbing our culture.
Yeah.
All right. This is why we threw your damn tea overboard. All right. Because of the
cultural appropriation.
Because of this disrespect. Okay. Their mascot name is Gully.
Gully
the seagull.
People have been asking us, is this the gulliest mascot? By definition, I guess maybe.
I mean, no. I would no. Because
he's called Gully.
Gulliest is a lifestyle.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. It's not a religion. It's more of a way of being. Okay.
Exactly. Sometimes people are concerned. I did a commercial shoot for Heineken the other day, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna, because they didn't tell me what wardrobe to wear, so I was like, I'm gonna rock this gulliest shirt up in this Heineken commercial, and
it's gonna be official.
Then they're gonna be like, yo, this commercial's mad gully.
Yeah, oh damn, who's that dude in the background? He gonna rob all that Heineken.
No, I was like in the commercial. I was being interviewed. And do you remember?
Shouts for that, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Do you remember? You remember Casey Jost?
Yeah.
Colin Jost's brother.
Yeah.
He was the host of this commercial, and it was basically telling stories, crazy night stories.
Oh, very cool.
Whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna wear my gulliest shirt, and this commercial is gonna be dope.
Bang bang.
I walk in, the director's like, hey, what does that mean on your shirt? I'm like, just gulliest. It's like, it's just like a way of life. It's just like a thing. It's a New
it's
York
like you're
thing.
fun. You're trying to say whatever.
He's like, it's not a brand or anything, right? I'm like, nah, it's not a brand.
No.
I'm like, I'm just trying to end this conversation.
You can buy it in the street.
It's nothing. So we're filming the commercial, and everything's going well. And then the director's like, cut. He's like, get him a sweater. I'm like, what? And I have to wear some sweater on the thing, like a sweater that wasn't even mine.
You come back from the dressing room, you've got the T-shirt over the sweater. You're like, ready to film. Let's go.
So yeah. It was a disappointing too. You're not going to be able to see the Gully shirt.
But we'll be able to feel it.
But I'll hopefully the commercial comes out and you'll see me in it. But a lot of people were asking, like, I feel like people were almost coming to our defense, like, hey, do you guys allow this? Do you allow this mascot to just steal basically all your mojo? And to those people who tweeted at us all that stuff, thank you so much for looking out for us. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we love that. Also, show up. Show up, Gully. Come to our face. Let's see how Gully you really are.
Let's see how Gully really is.
I didn't even realize this. They have a female Gully.
What is it? Like
it's called
Goulet?
Sally. Maybe Christian pulls up on Sally. Is what I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. You know,
Right?
maybe I barco your Sally.
Right? Maybe Sally walks away from Gully. Let's see how Gully you is.
So, holy crap, man. It was look, it's fine. It's whatever. What are you going to do? I mean, how can we, it's not our word. It belongs to everybody.
Yeah, the word is part of the world.
And look, Gully, I just hope that Gully lives to his gulliest.
Right.
You know, lives his gulliest life.
Yeah, I want to see him mush other mascots in the face.
That's really what we need.
Right?
I mean, if you're gonna be Gully, I mean that's a big name.
You can't call yourself that and not be Gully.
Without it, that's it. So everybody, you keep Gully on his toes.
Absolutely, and also let him be Gully because it just so happens that you and I and our fans are the gulliest.
That's right.
So go ahead, you could be Gully. Just know who the gulliest are.
And speaking of that, there was another mascot that I had put up the video on Instagram and Twitter.
Cibao FC.
Cibao FC, my home team.
Bang, 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 bang.
Since day one, been a lifelong supporter since 5 years ago.
As a child.
since they just started existing a couple years ago. But they have a new mascot called Luca 00. Who is a dog. He's a dog that dances merengue with the fans in the crowd during the games. So that's quite gullier than Gully.
That's so much Gully. Also, what do English people do? What is he going to go out there and just, I don't know, stare at a guy playing a guitar?
Just
I mean, what do you...
Lindy hop? I don't know what they do. I don't even know. I don't think the English can move that well.
I don't think all hips are just starting to break. Young boys, old girls. Tim Einenkel, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Our producer just texted and said that you were trying to do what LL Cool J did in the Gap commercial when he rapped wearing FUBU.
That's right.
Yeah.
I am the FUBU of soccer.
You were trying to FUBU a Heineken commercial.
Okay. For Latinos, by Latinos.
Football.
Football.
For the gulliest, by the gulliest. Bug.
Last thing officially I want to talk about.
Because we got to get to the end.
We got to get to our next segment. But DC United did play Montreal, and I did want to get to this game because this was a 5-0 drubbing, very unexpected. Montreal holding on to, again, they are the RSL of the Eastern Conference, trying to hold on to that playoff spot.
Dude, they did not show up at all.
You know what? I actually thought they played pretty well, and Bill Hamid had probably his best game of the season. DC United had just a little bit of luck, and Rooney was
back to his old self, man.
He
was cutting dudes up,
dude.
So did Zlatan. There's something in the water this week.
Incredible. These old men, but Zlatan was great. But Rooney. Again, we talked about how great Lucha Acosta has been these last few weeks ever since Rooney arrived.
Areola with a brace too.
So the one thing I wanted to highlight about this game, even though DC United we were concerned when Rooney got here of how much of an impact he would really make. They're making it to the playoffs, and it's going to be probably NYCFC against DC United in that knockout game.
Oh boy.
Which I think. I'm going to favor NYCFC because they just played DC United not too long ago, and they drew, but DC United had, 1 shot on goal, 2 shots on goal. So I think the odds are in NYCFC's favor. But
they're only 2 points away from Montreal for the last spot, but they got 2 games in hand.
2 games in hand. They're making it. I don't see how they're not.
This would suck for Montreal if they don't make it.
It would be the absolute worst. But they shouldn't lose 5-0. If they win this game, they probably kind of secure a playoff spot.
You got to trade Piatti if you don't make it into the playoffs. Don't let him do that again for another year.
All right. What are you going to do? All right. But the one thing I want to highlight about this game was the announcer. I don't know his name, but in this broadcast, there's apparently a new nickname for these guys.
Luchero.
No. So Lucharu.
Well, I think they said he said it that way so that he could say and Rooney too. Lucharu and Rooney too. Isn't that like
no, he says Lucharu and Areola too.
That's it.
So that's whatever.
First of all, 2 areolas, that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay? Seems very not normal to me.
But then there was an assist from Lucho Acosta to Paul Areola, and he says Luchola, which feels like
Benifer, one of those things.
Yeah, but that Luchola feels like a disease you get that keeps you in the bathroom.
Yeah, spend all your time waiting. And he's just like, do you suffer from Luchola? Yeah.
It didn't sit well with me,
No.
and it needs to stop immediately. We don't need.
That's a trash nickname.
We don't need these nicknames.
No.
I don't think that isn't very common. I mean. It's like Stockton Malone. There wasn't like Stockton or whatever. You know, just say both of their names.
Yeah, it wasn't Pip Orden, for Pippen and Jordan.
I mean, but that one.
Or Jippin.
Well, I think that's a slur. I think.
First of all, I'm very sorry to anyone I've offended.
Apologize to all the. It's a beautiful culture. Those people.
Oh, those Japanese are good people. I should not have said any of that.
Okay, all right. We're gonna need a long apology from you. Anyway, okay. So that was my last gripe.
Right.
I want to get to our next segment. We have to talk about.
We have a great interview coming up.
Great guest.
Yes, this is what we do.
Aaron Dolores of
Black Arrow.
All right, so we'll be right back right after this.
Hey, everybody, thanks so much for listening to the Cooligans. We just wanted to give you a word from one of our sponsors, us.
Us. We're the ones sponsoring this episode.
Yeah. Actually, it's you guys. We're trying to build a little bit. We've been saying it from the beginning. We want to build a community. We're calling that community the Gully Squad. And how you join is go to our website and you click on that menu and you're going to see something that says Gully Squad. Now, what is Gully Squad? We're trying to find a way to add more content to the show. Add a second episode per week. You could be a part of that. Just register and sign up. And you're basically going to be kind of, I don't know, one of our sponsors almost, right?
Yeah, you'll be helping support the show, but not only that, but you'll be able to contribute suggestions, ideas, things you want us to talk about. So we want to make that second episode a very listener-based episode.
Yeah, and you guys give us a lot of great information on Twitter. What are some of the other things you want us to do? What are some of the things that we don't talk about that you want us to talk about? Somebody already joined and gave us a great suggestion. We need to talk more about women's soccer, right? He has a daughter that's playing the sport, and he wants us to be more involved in that. We would love to be more involved in that. Great suggestion. This is what we're talking about. Maybe he can send us some articles or suggest some players.
Or even it's an issue with like time as well, right? Like if we want to make this more our job, then if we want to watch more, like the NWSL playoffs are going on now. I just watched the Portland Portland Thorns against the Seattle Reign the other day. Yeah. But to be able to dedicate that time to like say, hey, this is my job. I'm going to make sure I watch these MLS games, these NWSL games, some of these European
USL
games,
or NPSL Pro as it comes up, all those things.
So by supporting the show, by joining the Gully Squad, you'll be able to allow us the time to make sure to do that. So there's a bunch of different levels: $5, $10, $15, $20, $25, and
it is a monthly subscription. But at the highest level, we're going to give you merch as it comes out, right?
Yeah.
We got some merch. We're going to give you tickets to shows that are local to you. So you're in one of those cities that we're going to go to. We're going to give you guys free tickets, right? So you really will be a part of the show at that really high level. Yeah. You're just going to be like a constant part of the show. And that's something that we look forward to having you guys give us some input, have you guys at our shows, and have you guys wearing our merch. I mean, I can't think of anything better than that.
It'd be a dream come true. So go to soccercooligans.com, click on the menu that says join the Gully Squad, and I mean, it'll be great. It'll be a great future for all of us.
Somebody, come on, be a part of that Gully Squad. We'd love to have you aboard. Yeah, baby, we're back.
We are back. We are here with our guest.
Come on.
Yo.
There he is. You heard his voice. I mean, we
Black
mentioned
Arrow
it
in the building.
Absolutely. Black Arrow threw an incredible party in Atlanta. So thank you for having us. Unless you're driving, put your hands together for the one, the only Aaron Dolores of Black Arrow.
What up, what up, what up?
Aaron, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
Thank you. That's what we expect
Come
from
on,
our
the
guests.
Cooligans.
Yes.
Although Total Soccer Show had me first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
we're not
you
going to
guys
talk
are,
about that.
You guys are.
I mean, we use them.
Sloppy seconds.
They sort of vet our
Yeah.
guests, and then
That was the USL
Gotcha.
for you, and we saw you was good, so we're like, all right, let's bring him up.
all right, we're gonna
We're gonna
Although
promote
Tyler
you.
didn't show up, so
Oh, really?
I think this is. I think
Yeah.
y'all got the real interview.
Were you in Richmond for that?
No, I called in.
Oh, okay.
That don't count then. That don't
Yeah.
count.
Oh,
Nobody
come on.
go to Richmond.
We got you in this
Yeah, we
studio right
we
here.
flew you in here.
That's right.
We got you out here in
Spirit
Madison.
Airlines.
Yeah, yeah. And we asked you to split that cost with us. It's very expensive.
Okay, we need the receipts. We need all the
We got
receipts.
6 layovers. We're gonna make it happen.
Yo, you're not bringing a bag, are you? You're not bringing a bag, right?
Not allowed. Don't use that bathroom because we ain't paying that $5.
So Aaron Dolores, you are the creator of Black Arrow.
For sure.
All right, and for people who do not know, Black Arrow is a more than I feel like it's difficult to just describe it. Is it a media company? Is it a party show? Is
Yeah,
it like
yeah.
so it's a
Party promotion.
Party
heat
promotion.
everything.
It's like its main focus is to highlight Black culture in soccer.
And also
sure.
grow it, right?
To
Grow the Black
it,
fandom. of
highlight
soccer.
it, and to bring the history forward from everything that kind of came, before us, which is something that I learned when I first got into soccer and started doing a little bit of research. Like growing up, in Oakland, I didn't play soccer. I mean, I played when I was younger, but after that, I didn't play at all, and I wasn't really into it. I thought it was a Mexican sport.
Yeah.
That was, our kind of perception of it. And then, I started researching it a little bit more and seeing that, Black folks had a long history in soccer that I didn't even know about. So, I would say kind of setting the trend for the future of Black soccer and also making sure that we're bringing those stories forward of, everything that happened before.
Now, it seems to me like you did a great documentary with Copenhagen US about Black soccer, especially in ATL, which I think Atlanta United, the fan base, sort of probably has the strongest significance of having like Black culture be a part of the team, correct? Right. And by the way, I know that there's fan bases that are trying to do more. A lot of NYCFC fans want a little bit more hip hop culture as a part of the sort of the makeup of NYCFC. A little difficult because they're very, English. But I would say that Atlanta United has that, and also the city itself right now, sort of like the most buzzing hip hop scene. Just everything about it seems like Black excellence. You know what I mean? Atlanta. What was it for you to see that? Because everyone assumes you're from Atlanta because of that documentary.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And then you threw a party in Atlanta. So it's like you're not getting out of Atlanta when you're like,
Hey, yeah,
right?
For sure. Now I'm from Oakland, California.
Yeah,
And
Oaktown.
we're going to talk about when you was talking about E40 a little bit later.
I ain't drinking that energy.
Yeah, no, Black culture is Atlanta. So, when you go to a restaurant, you go to a bar, it's ingrained in the city. You can't really go, you can't do anything without it. So I think that is naturally spilling over to the team. Obviously, I think it's an exciting time for American soccer, right? Because they're winning, they're integrating the culture, the hip hop artists are showing up. So they're killing it right now. They're number one.
Yeah, really what is it? Freeway just did that promo for Philadelphia Union. Even though they lost in the U.S. Open Cup final, but that was a cool thing to see. But it's strange because it feels like just a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the Philadelphia Union and why there isn't this bigger effort to connect with like Philly rappers.
Well, it started with Lil Uzi Vert wore the Club America shirt, and I was like, and you can't go back in time. I'm like, but here's a Philly artist,
right?
And he's wearing this shirt. I get it. It's a much brighter shirt. It fits his style, but why isn't there an opportunity? Why can't Philly make a one-off?
Right.
You know what I mean? Do something funky for Lil Uzi Vert. Give him something. You know what I mean? When we were at the Secret Walls Adidas MLS event, Young M.A. performed, and Red Bulls gave her a jersey, Red Life. She's only going to wear that one. She's probably not going to wear the blue one. But
look, it might cause a little bit of issues with her compatriots.
Yeah, her conglomerate might be a little bit upset. So, but they gave her a jersey. Like, these are things that I feel like we kind of need to be seeing more of.
What I wanted to credit you with is that I think that with what you're doing, the soccer community is so small that even just anybody being like trying to big up any particular part of it, people see it almost immediately, and I feel like the influence is already there.
For sure.
Where like I'm not gonna say like that the Freeway thing doesn't happen or that 2 Chainz in Atlanta doesn't happen without like your effort or with what you're doing, but it doesn't hurt either. You know what I mean? Like just
It
the fact-
amplifies
it
it.
amplifies it in,
Yeah.
stuff like, in that
For
way.
sure, yeah. I mean, we just launched it a year ago, so it's been a hell of a ride. And you know, my thing was because I wasn't into soccer before, and prior to starting this brand, when I really started looking at the soccer community in the U.S., you know, my thing was, why don't I just create it? Right? It's not up to the MLS or San Jose Earthquake or Philadelphia Union necessarily to kick off hip hop culture in soccer, right? There's so much opportunity in soccer specifically to create off the field that my thing is like, rather than complain about it, I'm just going to start it and then give the soccer community and the MLS and whoever something to connect into, right? Because they're not going to initiate it. They're running a league. They're, you know, they're doing a lot of other things. And so I think that's kind of the beautiful thing. I mean, I've noticed a lot of...
It'd be dope if it was just like Summer Jam sponsored by Major League Soccer. Yeah, we're getting in this, dog. What
Here's
you know?
Fat Joe in an NYCFC jersey.
Why not? Why not?
What is your goal? What is the goal of Black Arrow? Like, if you could look back in 5 years and you would say, like, these 3 things you could tick off and you were successful, what are those 3 things? Because I think that's a big question people have is like, all right, I see what you're doing, but like, what is actually happening? What is the goal of Black Arrow?
Right. So it kind of happens on a few different levels. And I think anytime you are creating something that is of your culture, there's a lot of different levels to like the way that you think about it, right? There's just what's important to Black people as far as like our community and our culture and stuff like that. There's the culture element, which is the hip hop and, you know, all that stuff. And then, of course, in soccer, everybody wants to know about the development of soccer players and getting more Black kids kind of into it. So we're staying in this lane of this like quote unquote cool kids soccer angle because, you know, when you look at the landscape, that's really what's missing right now.
Yeah.
And so if you want little Black kids to play soccer, it's got to be, they got to want to do it.
Yeah.
It's a culture war more than it is like
Yeah.
training them, right? You know, that's why in Brazil or whatever, these guys are, you know, by the time they can even see what's happening, they want to play soccer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the first thing. And then, you know, the second thing is what tripped me out about soccer was the way that I got into the sport was in 2014, me and my homies, instead of going to Brazil, we went to Europe during the World Cup. And the idea was like, you know, that was going to be just a tourist trap or whatever. So we touched down. We went to 4 different countries. We went to Croatia, Germany, Italy, and Switzerland. Mm-hmm. And we kind of put together a trip that we made sure when we were in every country, that country had a game happening.
Yeah.
So we could be on the streets with, you know, the fans. So we touched down in Croatia in this town called Pula, which is right on the water, right across the water from Italy.
Italy, yeah.
And they have a Roman Colosseum. It's like one of the most intact Roman Colosseums still, right?
Yeah.
An ancient Roman Colosseum. So we're hanging out, partying, whatever. The night before the match, and Croatia's opening up the World Cup against Brazil in 2014.
Yep.
The mayor decides that they're going to show the game in this Roman Colosseum right on the water, whatever. So, you know, day of game, 10,000 people, you know, roll into this, you know, ancient Colosseum.
In robes, waiting to see gladiators fight.
Thumbs down.
For real. Yeah,
Lions
exactly.
eating.
Yeah, I'm like, am I part of the show yet? Like, what's going to happen?
You're just like, everyone act cool before.
No, but then that was, you know, and Croatia scored first.
Yeah.
Flares are going off, you know. So that was like my moment where I'm like, holy shit, like as an American, I'm like, I was wrong about soccer all along because the history and the culture and the intensity was just so present like in that moment that I was like, you know. And then we went on to Berlin. We watched the game at, you know, Brandenburg Gate, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, we stopped in Italy. We were in Switzerland. In Switzerland, you know, they were just like, the Colombians were out there. You know, so that was kind of like my entrance into the culture of soccer.
That was your baptism.
That was my baptism, right? And then, you know, I didn't really move on it. And then, you know, just a year and a half ago, kind of conceived this idea of starting Black Arrow. So long story short, for me, it was like I was a little bit shitty that this whole world of soccer existed and I didn't know about it, you know? And
Trust me, we were mad at you.
Yeah, furious. We almost didn't have you on the show.
but then also everything that once you start peeling the surfaces of soccer, everything that you learn about the world,
Yeah.
from culture to history to Colombia or Venezuela or the Dominican Republic, just like as you follow any lead in soccer, it's going to open up so much more information. So
Absolutely.
my main goal, and it's not really to necessarily get kids to play or whatever. My main goal is to kind of set, Black folks or whoever on that path to kind of discover, what I discovered.
Yeah.
Because it's like I want to take them on that ride with me.
What was, one thing I really enjoy is your Instagram, and you do a lot of Instagram stories, and you do this cool thing where you legitimately tell stories in your Instagram story,
And you layer it too.
and it's very, very well done. It feels like these easily digestible documentaries, but it's more about you learning things, right?
Yeah.
And I can't specifically remember one that I enjoyed. Obviously, they disappear after 24 hours, but is there one in particular? Because there was one that you did during the World Cup. It might have been about Panama. I don't remember specifically. But when you do those, is there anyone that particularly stands out where you were like, oh man, I didn't know this about
For sure.
soccer or Black culture in soccer?
For sure.
And it really stood out to me.
So I'll tell you two quick stories. So the name Black Arrow. Do you guys know where that came
It's
from?
the old player. There was a Black player named Black Arrow in, is it England?
Close. So
Scotland.
So
it's
Gil
Scotland.
Scott Heron's father was a professional soccer player.
Yeah,
He came from Jamaica,
right.
landed in Detroit, and gave birth to Gil Scott Heron. Gil Scott Heron, obviously the godfather of hip hop.
Right.
So he ended up getting scouted by the Celtic and
Right.
became the first Black player to play for them. This is in like the 1940s or whatever. So you
Way
can
back in the
imagine, a Black dude playing
The golden age.
in Scotland.
It must have been so easy for him
So fun.
to just
It's a real breeze. Hey, come on, welcome into the 18.
yeah. You know how the Scottish are, just welcoming Black people since 1940.
Nah, but it's funny. So the name comes. The fans had nicknamed him the Black Arrow because he was fast, whatever.
Right.
Which I think that's hilarious. But it's an interesting story because when you research the team, then you see that they have a long history of being very liberal and kind of promoting diversity and stuff like that, right? From someone looking from the outside, if you're thinking of a team, whatever in Scotland, you're kind of like but then you think of a team, an organization that was maybe way ahead of its time, in doing something like that. So
Was he the first Black player in Scottish Premier League?
he wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't. But to play for that team.
Which was a massive team. I mean, they've, Celtic and Rangers always huge. So that's
Yeah.
a big deal for sure.
Yeah, so we always kind of, I feel like our history is a little bit connected to theirs.
Right.
So we use their colors sometime. And, Gil Scott Heron's granddaughter reached out to me and said, I love what you're doing. My grandfather would be proud. So, those are some of the things that, have happened since starting the brand that really are important to me as, a Black person to be able to like connect to the history, like literally, and to influence it. I would say the second thing is, our trip to Colombia, which is maybe you saw on Instagram story. So for folks that don't know, during the World Cup,
You went to visit Christian's family.
I went to
Colombia.
visit
Thank
part
you.
of his family.
That kind of you. Thank you for bringing all those great gifts.
But it was we sold travel packages for folks to come to Colombia during the World Cup, and it was an ode to the trip that got me into soccer during the 2014 World Cup, and kind of the idea was. You bring Black folks into Colombia during the World Cup. We're in Cartagena, where the Afro-Colombian community is based, and it all kind of you bring them up to speed so much more quicker.
For sure.
Right? They're watching the games everywhere. People are going nuts. You're seeing actual Black people watching soccer. So that was amazing for me to learn about Afro-Colombian culture and history, and just one of the many things that I think that we've done to, I think connect the diaspora and also just highlight, just how dope soccer is culturally.
How do you feel about and I that is amazing in itself, especially mentioning like connecting the Black diaspora, right? Because what is it like for you being like an African American male being in these countries where there are also Black people,
right?
But I presume you do not speak Spanish very well.
So the culture is extremely
the culture is different.
African American is a specific culture that's very different from a Afro-Cuban or like my grandmother or like Afro-Colombian, like Christian.
Because this is a thing, growing up and being Dominican, growing up in New York, there's a little bit of a disconnect to that Black diaspora, right? Where I even know, like, my family, they might be my skin color, maybe even a little bit darker, but they would see like a Black American and be like, "Oh, we're not like them."
Right.
And
the "we're not Black, we're Dominican" is almost like a trope.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that is a very like Latinos don't want to consider themselves Black, and people fall in wherever they want to fall. I'm not going to argue with people about that.
Right.
But what is it like, sort of trying to bridge that gap, and how are you received when you're there?
I mean, I think you just kind of hit the nail on the head as far as why this is so important. And I think through soccer, you can grab people's attention to teach those, those type of things.
Yeah.
But it's not that complicated, right? So the slaves, they came out west, or were brought out west.
Yeah,
excuse me.
Bit adventurous.
And we're brought out
These
west.
explorers.
We Google mapped it. And we're like, what's going on over there? Maybe we should find out. Free boat trip? Sure. Ow.
Yeah. No, so, they were, the slave ships landed in Colombia.
Everywhere.
They landed in Panama. They landed in the Caribbean, the DR. So I think that we kind of overcomplicate that. And I hope towards, like, as a society, we are learning more about kind of the history and how we are all, connected for the diaspora, specifically. Like, I ask people all the time, like, is Pele Black? And they'll be like, nah, he's Brazilian. I'm like, he's as black as this microphone.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, like, how, I don't want to say brainwashed, but how miseducated are we that we could look at someone that is black as tar and say he's not Black?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's also because I think the first culture that I think the first Black culture that became, like, hugely popular was specifically almost like a New York Black culture with, like, the explosion of hip hop and African American culture, like on TV in the 70s and all that, which is all, America first to media. So the rest of the world got to see what Black culture was like almost through an African American culture of filter. And it's so different. And I think it's something that's becoming so big right now. Speaking specifically of British Black culture, is really its own thing.
Yeah.
Like, even grime artists are like, we're not rappers, we're
Right.
grime artists. And you're like, well, dog, you're just rapping faster. Twista is a
Over
grime
a
artist.
weird beat.
Yeah, slow that beat down a little bit, bro. You know what I mean? Or
You got some place to be? Why are you going so fast?
Why you repeating yourself so much, bro? We heard you the first 18 times. But, like, you look at, like, British Black culture, you look at Jamaican culture, which is sort of like the base of all of this. Jamaicans in New York were the ones who invented hip hop and those types of parties.
Right.
And then you got Jamaican Black culture in Britain. And now recently, what's the dude's name from the the France song?
Veja's Dream.
Thank God you said that. All right. So that guy, like the Black French artist, who's like sort of a Black. It's a hip hop, right?
Yeah, it's about. Yeah,
He's a rapper.
it's like Future. He's like Future.
Okay, so like trap, we got trap out in France, very nice, out of the suburbs, right? So we get that. Like, all these cultures are so different, but one of the things they do is they all highlight sort of what happened when people were forced to go to some of those countries, and they would now live there. Or in some of the cases in Europe, it's more of a migration issue, or more of an immigration issue. But it sort of creates like this beautiful cultures all around. The base of it is the fact that they're all Black, but they're all so different. Are you finding that? Is that inspiring to see those things? Does it make it your job easier to see grime being interjected into soccer, or does it make it more difficult to explain everything to, say, someone from Oakland who's like, who? I don't know who Skepta is.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. No, I mean, this is an amazing part of the journey, which is for me to discover the diaspora. And it's not as different as you think, right? It comes in a different form or whatever. But when I see a Black dude in Colombia, or I see a Black dude in London or in Nigeria, we're much more, similar than we are different. So I think the first thing is, we might speak. And until I went to Colombia, I never really wanted to speak Spanish that badly. And then when there was other black folks that I couldn't communicate with, I was like, shit, maybe I should learn Spanish. But like I said, I think we complicated it a lot, and I think it's a very interesting time because through technology, the diaspora is starting to kind of find one another, and you're seeing those influences with the hip hop guys using the dance hall stuff, and then in London they're pulling from our hip hop stuff, and then the reggaeton. Reggaeton started in Panama, because they were bringing black folks from the Caribbean to help build the Panama Canal,
right? And
they were bringing that island vibe. And then when they localized the music in Spanish, that's what spread it to the rest of Spanish-speaking world. So
just real quick for all of our Puerto Rican listeners, don't listen to anything he said. You guys invented it.
Don't tell him that. That came from Panama. That's ours.
That never came from Panama. That came from the Caribbean. My God.
Nah, but
that was invented in the Bronx.
I think it's an interesting time because, through soccer, we can kind of get the eyes and the ears. Soccer is the biggest sport for black people when you look at it globally.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Right? Which is something that might be news to us in America. And, I think that's a big part of the brand, which is connecting the diaspora.
So speaking of Panama, you were recently there for the World Cup. Panama did make their first World Cup ever, and you made a mini documentary about it. And so we'll do what they do on TV shows. We're gonna roll the clip.
We're gonna cut to the clip.
So let's play a clip from the documentary, and then we'll talk about it.
And if you check out our YouTube channel, if you want to see the clip as well.
We're here watching Mexico versus Germany. Mexico's up 1-0. I just want to say, I feel so lucky and fortunate to be invited into this house, into this community, to connect in with them at this time. It's just a big time for the country, and as an American, we're here to celebrate with the Panamanians. I think it's really important for soccer fans to realize that some of these players that are playing in the United States are leaving back here a family and a community that really relies on them. When you see these guys playing on the field, remember that they're not just soccer players, they're not just athletes. These guys were born in the barrios, and what they mean to the community, you can't really put words to how important it is.
So you went to Panama.
Yep.
And I saw the film, and it was a. So specifically, you went to Panama and you were wearing a Red Bull jersey, and you were kind of highlighting the Panamanian players from Major League Soccer that did make it and played in the World Cup. What was the experience like? I mean, watching the video, it felt very. It was a really captured how incredibly important it was for Panama to make the World Cup. And for me, there were two things, because it reminded me very much of Dominican Republic and seeing how my family grew up.
Right.
And you're seeing we think of soccer players and we think of millionaires and all this other stuff. MLS players probably don't make money like that.
Right.
But you really still see that the players' families are not really living this lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, you weren't in a mansion at all. No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I stayed in a pretty nice hotel.
Yeah.
Nah,
they got some dope stuff out there.
Yeah, we stopped off in Panama, myself and some of my homies, before the Colombia trip started. And when I found out that there was 6 players in the MLS that all play for the Panamanian national team, I hit up the MLS and was like, yo, can you get me these jerseys? I'm going to go down. And kind of was, the idea was to, connect in with the Panamanians and kind of bring, show our respect to them, since the U.S. wasn't in it, as a way to learn about how a country, experiences their first ever World Cup.
Yeah.
Right? however long the World Cup's been around, 80, 90 years, this was their first ever World Cup. So we thought it was be cool to be in Panama City to see how people were experiencing that. And you'll see in the video, what I did was I signed up for 2 hood tours.
Nice.
So I found these tours online that literally take you to like the barrios.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Shouts to the gulliest tour guide.
It was the gulliest. It was the gulliest tour.
We everywhere, son.
And
That was sort of I just real quick. I went to Brazil a couple years ago, and we met a cab driver who spoke English, and he took us to favelas. And when that was like that's the only place I wanted to be. I wanted to go and see what it was really like. And everybody was like, "Don't you dare! You'll never
Machine
make
guns in the street.
Then you'll never make it out alive
for sure.
But he was like, "No, I'll take you." And we
Yeah.
took us to like this like warehouse where there was like a huge party, and it was like. I got to experience actual Rio de Janeiro, not just all the beaches and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So
You see the real culture.
you see the real culture. So we on one of the tours, the tour guy was like, "Yo, do you want to go to Fidel Escobar's house from the Red Bull?"
Right.
And I was wearing his jersey, and I was like, "Hell yeah!" So we kind of walked up, big kind of project building looking thing. His whole family's there. The whole family, the family on the family on the family.
Yeah.
This is the day before they're playing in, their first ever World Cup game against Belgium, which was, a body bag, but that's how it goes. So, his family invited us in to just meet them, I got my hair cut in front of the house. They were out there, chopping hair, and I met his mother, I met his son. I still haven't even met him, but yeah, I think the takeaway for me was and some of the stuff that I hope that we can bring with Black Arrow is to kind of show these us fans in America when you're yelling and screaming at these dudes because they missed a kick or something.
Right.
Like a lot of these guys come from nothing. You know what I mean? And you can't bring your whole family just because you play from the MLS doesn't mean you can just bring your whole family out here, right? And also, like, if you were to imagine if you're from Panama, you're living in the street, you're living in the hood or whatever, like, why would you want to bring your whole family here when, you guys are from this neighborhood and all your extended relatives and, like, that's where you guys grew up.
Yeah.
So, I hope to kind of get that message across to humanize these guys a little bit so that we're not seeing them just as, soccer players and to understand, like, what they're going through.
For sure.
His son was sitting right in there.
Yeah.
His mom and whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like there's, with them on the road in these hotel rooms. So, I realized really early on when starting Black Arrow, like often I feel like for a lot of the black players that get a lot of heat and, people yelling and screaming at them, like often people don't think about where these guys come from and that they come from rich cultures. And if you can kind of research and understand these cultures, I think you'll be able to understand these folks better and humanize them a little bit. Obviously, they're humans. What the hell is
it's so there's so many like parallels. Like I think about my family, like my grandparents, they're in their 90s, and my mom is always worrying about them and like has always thought about either bringing them here or moving them to like a nicer place in Dominican Republic, and they're like, no. We're not leaving. We're like, it's by American standards, it's horrible. Everything is bad. There's no hot water. They're stroke, but they're like, no, we're not gonna leave.
It's similar to my grandmother and grandfather when they had to leave Cuba. They went to Newark. They picked Newark. And they were like, this seems like a nice place, and they were wrong. But as everyone got older, my mother and my aunt, my uncle, they were like, well, you guys can move to a different neighborhood. And my grandmother was like, why? I get the bus right there, and I go get the Spanish food I like at the store, and there's other Latinos here. Like, why would I ever move here? And the rest of us were like, should we not pack our bags? Should we unpack?
But the thing you mentioned about the players, like, and screaming at them, I don't know if you saw this. The game between Rebels and Atlanta United. Remember we were talking about Gaynor McCann last week, Chris McCann's wife, who was very vocal on Twitter, and she
claps back for her man.
She definitely did that, and he had the penalty call because he had the handball. And she was apparently at a bar watching the game when her husband was not having the best game. And she was with, I think she has a son or maybe 1 or 2 kids or something like that. And everybody was like seriously shitting on Chris McCann.
Yeah.
And she put on Twitter, she was like, last time I ever go to a bar to watch a game, because everybody was just, being disrespectful towards, like, I'm clearly his wife. Maybe you can tone it down about that. But she had like a kind of bunch of arguments with people on Twitter, and then she ended up deleting her account.
Oh, man.
So which is a shame.
All right, R.I.P. to the gulliest wag.
Yeah, we were giving you props. Come back to Twitter, man.
Or come on our show.
She's like, the wife and the kid are on before Chris McCann is.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is about humanizing the player. I understand.
It happens to me all the time. I yell at the players all the time, and I very.
I thought you were gonna say I yell at the players' wives.
Yeah. Get out of the way. Get this kid out of this bar. No, but you do it, and you very rarely think about like where they're from, or the fact that they're playing to put food on the table of 18 people in a small house in Panama. You very rarely think of that.
We did an interview that's going to come out in a few weeks. We sat down with Romario Williams, who's plays for Atlanta United, and he's Jamaican.
Yeah.
And he,
we
was
knew
telling
that
the
when you
story.
said Romario. Very Jamaican.
He was telling us when he first came to when he first started playing professionally, he was playing up in Canada. It was cold as hell.
Yeah.
And he's from Jamaica. He's was playing in South Florida before that. And he was like, that was very hard to, it's like Cool Runnings. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to adjust. And you might not be thinking about that when you're just watching the game. But, this dude is away from his whole family. He's cold as hell.
Right.
It's a different environment.
Sure.
He's like, why are we playing in shorts? Whose idea was this? Get me a parka.
Oh, yeah. Now I think about it, the title of the movie, Cool Runnings, would be better for a Jamaican soccer team playing in Canada than a bobsled team. Doesn't you make any Cool Running soccer?
I'm sure there's a neighborhood I don't know about in Toronto that's just filled with Jamaicans. Let's get it. Let's figure this out. We got a Cool Runnings too.
So, Aaron, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Now, the video is coming out while people are hearing this.
Yeah,
on
it's out
Wednesday.
right now.
So go to which YouTube channel?
Black Arrow FC.
Black Arrow FC. And where can people follow you on Twitter and Instagram and all that?
Everything is Black Arrow FC. Instagram is Black Arrow _FC. Everything else is at Black Arrow FC. You'll find us.
Yeah, and like Alexis mentioned earlier, the party that we went to. I mean, there's more. There's content, but there's also dope ass parties. If Black Arrow is throwing a party in your area,
you need to be there.
You need to be there.
Which we got one coming up, right? We got a little
this
watch
Sunday
party.
we're doing a watch party for Man City Liverpool right here in New York.
Okay.
So an opportunity
Where's it at and what time?
It's at Rise, New York.
Which is third and what?
Which is 3rd and 3rd Ave, Murray Hill.
Okay.
So starts at 11. We're gonna have brunch, play some music, watch the game, just kick it,
All right. Yeah. So come out. We're gonna be. I'm gonna be there. I don't know. Are you gonna be there? I'll be there.
I'll most likely be there.
Okay.
He's not gonna be there.
Most likely. What is that? 23rd and 30th. There you go. Between 30th and 29th.
Okay. Not far from where we are right now.
Yeah, not at all.
So Aaron Dolores at Black Arrow FC at Black Arrow _FC on Instagram. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
We'll do a little outro. You've seen the show before. So you know how it works.
Yeah.
So my name for Aaron Dolores, my name is Christian Polanco.
My name is Alexis Guerrero.
And together, what are we?
The Cooligans!
What's up? It's the world champion, Judah Friedlander, and you're watching the Cooligans. Why? Because you're cool. This is what winners look like right here, man.
I mean, you're looking at us.
Right now with my legs, I just juggled the ball 80,000 times.
You missed it.
Yeah.
He's been playing keepy uppy since I met him.
Yep, look faster, guys.
Go Team USA.